Hey everyone, it's Zayne, and today I'm going to be sharing some brief, non-spoilery thoughts on A Tragic Kind of Wonderful, which should be somewhere on the screen, assuming I have any editing skills at all, which is highly questionable. This book follows our main character Mel, who's actually been diagnosed with bipolar disorder. Mel is challenged with trying to maintain the relationships in her life while also dealing with the challenges that are associated with having bipolar disorder. She hasn't actually told her friends she has bipolar disorder, so again, that's a huge challenge for her, and not every member of her family is always the most supportive towards her. Now, before I get into the plot and the characters and everything else, I do want to put a quick trigger warning for suicide in this book. Though it's not explicit, it is still something that is mentioned, and it is something that could trigger someone out there, so I do want to put that warning out there. And again, I do want to talk about the representation of bipolar disorder in this book, as I think it is very important. Whenever you have any mental illness portrayed in any novel, it has to be done delicately, accurately, and fairly. I can say for A Tragic Kind of Wonderful, it definitely was. I actually reached out to the author on Twitter, and it turns out there was a mix of personal experience as well as research for this disorder. So again, I was very satisfied with how bipolar disorder was represented in this book. I think it was done accurately, and that was really great to see. Now for the plot, at first I thought it was a little bit slow. However, looking back, I think the reason why that is because it was about us trying to understand what it's like for someone with a mental illness. It's not necessarily about these huge moments that are happening all the time. It's about the little things, and it's about navigating through everyday life. And I think that was great to see because it's very reflective of what having a mental illness is like. Again, while the first half was a bit slow, there was a clear reason for that. And oh my gosh, you guys, the second half of this book was just non-stop, back-to-back. Something was happening every single page. You were like screaming at your main character to, continue doing what they're doing or to stop what they're doing. You were screaming at the other characters. There was just so much emotion in the second half of this book. It really made that first half, which was a lot of build-up, worth it. There were, again, some great character moments as well. The characters really carried the story. The dialogue between them is something that was really great, and I found that we had a lot of great inner monologue as well from our main character. I honestly just couldn't put the book down for the second half. I thought it was really, really great. One thing I really enjoyed about the writing was that it kind of mimicked how our main character Mel was feeling at the time. When she was feeling a bit higher, the sentences were really quick and choppy, which kind of made a lot of sense. When she was feeling a bit low, there was a bit less description, which again made sense as well. I'm going to jump into a brief spoilery part here, so if you want the full experience reading this novel, definitely click away now. Now, Mel does eventually end up telling her friends that she has bipolar disorder, and it was just so nice to see all her friends come together as one to support her. There was this scene where she's actually hospitalized and they're waiting outside the hospital with signs counting down the days until she's released, and that was just such a heartwarming moment for me. It was just so nice to see how supportive friends can be, and I think that's a huge takeaway. I think that a lot of times when someone has a mental illness or when someone's going through something, it's so easy to push people out. However, I do think that by trying to help people understand what you're going through and letting them in a little bit, it makes it so much easier for you because then you actually have a support network surrounding you. Again, guys, definitely, read this book if you're interested in mental health. Again, the start can be a little bit slow, but the second half is definitely worth the build-up. These mental health reads are, again, so important. I think I'm actually going to do a series on this channel just dedicated to mental health reads, and eventually once I've read enough, I'm going to do a mental health reads recommendations video. I gave this book a 4 out of 5 stars just because, again, I found the first half a little bit slow, but I still really appreciated the book as a whole, and I can't wait to read Eric's other novel. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you soon with a new video.